To Turkey now, where the jailed leader of the militant PKK, Abdullah Ocalan, has called for the group to disarm and disband. His statement was delivered by members of Turkey's pro-Kurdish DEM party after visiting Ocalan in prison. He's been held there since 1999. The Kurdistan Workers Party is designated as a terrorist organization by Turkey and its Western allies.
After decades of conflict, Kurds in Turkey are celebrating a call for peace. Abdullah Ocalan, the leader of the Kurdistan Workers Party, the PKK, is calling for the group to lay down its arms and dissolve. Kurds here hope that this is a huge step towards normalizing relations with pro-government groups.
If Ocalan wants this, we will also obey him, because this issue cannot be solved with weapons and force, because we do not want to see blood on our doorsteps anymore. Enough is enough.
But divisions between the Kurdish and pro-government Turkish communities run deep, and skepticism of the PKK remains high.
This is not the right step. In previous years, they wanted to lay down their weapons. They did, and they got stronger again.
Ocalan's statement is welcomed by Kurds across the border in northeastern Syria. They hope that his call for an end to the conflict between the PKK and Ankara will also bring an end to the fighting between Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces and Turkish-backed groups in Syria.
Today is a blessed day. After several years, we've heard from our leader. It has been a blessed day. Our hope in our leader is very great.
The commander of the SDF, Mazlum Abdi, was quick to respond. He says that he sees Ocalan's message for PKK disarmament as positive, but that it does not extend to Syrian Kurdish forces. The SDF operated in Syria under former President Bashar al-Assad with little tension. But Syrian Kurds are nervous about their future under a new administration that is backed by Turkey. Peace between the PKK and Ankara could still have implications for Syria.
Let's talk about that with DW correspondent Julia Hahn, who joins us now from Istanbul. Julia, is this likely to be a true turning point that will in fact lead to a real peace process?
I think it's too early to say. While Abdullah Ocalan's call on the PKK to dissolve is widely seen here as a significant move, it can only be the first step. And there are many reasons why some observers and analysts remain skeptical. One of the main questions now, of course, is how are the PKK commanders based in the mountains of northern Iraq going to react? Will they lay down their arms? How is this going to look like? With what timeline? And then another question is, who does actually feel addressed by Ocalan's call? In his letter, he said, let me briefly quote him, "All groups must lay down their arms and the PKK must dissolve itself." But we've just heard it there in the report. The Kurdish militant SDF in northern Syria, which Ankara views as PKK affiliates, have already said that they don't believe Ocalan's appeal applies to them. So how is this going to play out? And then another important aspect I should mention is that there has been a massive crackdown on the Kurdish movement here in Turkey over the past decade, especially since 2015, when the last peace process broke down. Thousands of people have been arrested or detained over alleged links with the PKK. Elected Kurdish mayors have been dismissed from their posts and replaced. And now the Kurdish movement here in Turkey wants to see political reforms from the government. They are basically saying now Abdullah Ocalan has done his part, and now it is up to the Turkish government of President Erdogan to make the next step and to come forward with more concrete plans towards peace.
Now, let's talk about the government stance on this. What are the risks for the country and for the government when it comes to navigating this whole process?
Well, obviously, everything could still go terribly wrong. There might be splinter groups within the PKK who disagree. This could lead to renewed fighting with the Turkish military. But I do think there are also certain risks involved here for President Erdogan. Erdogan seems to have endorsed these peace efforts, but he has also notably taken a backseat throughout the whole process in recent months. So far, we have not heard from him a reaction to Abdullah Öcalan's call yesterday, and maybe that's because he wants to prevent some negative backlash against his administration, because we have also seen some very angry reactions by Turkish people, families, for example, of Turkish soldiers who were killed in clashes with the PKK, who say Abdullah Öcalan is a terrorist, he's a killer, and no one should negotiate with him. And Erdogan certainly would have to appease these people, bring them on board, explain what he is doing. So this is a potential risk on the horizon here for President Erdogan and his government.
DW's Turkey correspondent Julia Hahn there reporting from Istanbul. Thank you very much, Julia.